Hey YouTube, I hope you guys are all doing well. It's Adrian from over here at PipeDreamHookah, and today I wanted to bring you a review on Alchemist's Russian Mule. Before we get into all the good stuff like the flavor of the tobacco, the scent, and the clouds that the stuff produces, let's cut over to some B-roll so I can show you guys the packing method for the tobacco, the cut that it has, and all the other good stuff that you guys want to see as far as specs goes. So I will be right back.
Okay guys, so moving on into the specs on this tobacco, Alchemist is a San Diego-based company. They package their tobacco in what looks like an ice cream container, and it does have a very nice lid on it that will provide an airtight seal and keep your tobacco fresh for a good long time. Moving into the cut, we do have a French blonde tobacco that is medium cut, and it is cut very consistently. There are very few stems, and the tobacco is fairly wet, but it's not soaking by any means of the word. Today we'll be packing it into Hookah John's 80 feet bowl, and to achieve the optimal pack for this tobacco, we will start by using our hands to grab some of the tobacco and fluff it up around the spire to just a hair above the rim. You could also semi-dense this tobacco, and you would yield good results. However, I think that a fluff pack is where you're going to get your optimum results with this tobacco. After you've fluffed it up just above the rim, you can go ahead and take a foil poker and just adjust the tobacco so it's nice and evenly distributed around the bowl. Once you've achieved this, if you have any moisture around the bowl, you can just go ahead and wipe that off with your finger or a paper towel, and then it's time to foil the bowl. As usual, we're just going to use one sheet of heavy-duty foil, shiny side down. We're going to get it drum tight around the bowl, and then our hole pattern is going to be fairly typical for this type of bowl as well. We're just going to poke a 3-ring hole pattern around the outside of the bowl like so. And your final product should look something like this. Now moving on to the equipment we'll be using to smoke it today, we will be using a Narvish hose by Hookah John. As I stated before, we'll be using the 80 feet bowl by Hookah John. I will be smoking it out of my Starbuzz Atlantis USA made, and I'll be using 3 Hookah John titanium flats on top.
Okay, one quick note before we get into the smell of this tobacco that I failed to mention over in the B-roll, and it's kind of an important one. Alchemist, one thing that kind of differentiates them from a lot of the other brands in the market, and they're the only brand that I know of that actually does this, they age their tobacco in bourbon barrels, which gives it this really interesting kind of a woody characteristic, the undertones of the flavor, and I find it very pleasant. It's just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about picking some of this stuff up. Because it is present in all of the flavors that I've tried so far, but I think it's a very pleasant characteristic, and it kind of separates them from the herd of other shisha tobacco makers. So that's just something to keep in mind. But moving on, let's get into the scent of the Russian Mule here. Okay, so I can tell you that in order to upload this video and try to give you an honest review on it, I actually had to smoke damn near the entire 350 gram container because the scent and the flavor are very complex in this tobacco. But when you're actually smelling the tobacco, which what I'm picking up on is this general citrus scent. And I can't really tell what the citrus fruit is. It's very general. It doesn't smell like a lemon or orange or a lime or anything like that. It's just kind of a general citrus scent with some menthol on the back end that I am picking up on when I smell it. You can also pick up this kind of a spiced herbal scent as well. It's kind of much less powerful than the actual citrus scent that I'm picking up on, but it's definitely there. And then underneath all of that, I do pick up some of that woody kind of robust, just woody flavor underneath it. And I think that's probably due to the fact that they do age the tobacco in bourbon barrels. So yeah, that's what I got for the scent. Let's check out a few of the clouds that the stuff can produce. Disclaimer on the clouds. While the shisha that you're smoking will have its own characteristics from brand to brand on what type of cloud output you're going to get, most brands in the market today are going to give you decent clouds, probably like a 7 or an 8 on the 10 scale. So with that in mind, a lot of what's going to go into making big, robust, full clouds is actually going to be how you pack your bowl, how you heat manage it, the water level, how restricted is your hose. A lot of those things kind of go into how big your clouds are going to be. So it's just something important to keep in mind if you're not getting the same performance that I do from your shisha tobacco. So just keep that in mind. But let's take a few pulls and see what kind of clouds we can get. So yeah, obviously this tobacco is going to produce some really big, full-bodied, robust clouds. which honestly is to be expected from this brand. I have had a few flavors and they all produce clouds like this. So in the cloud department, I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10. I have definitely seen bigger clouds, but these are just fantastic. So chugging along, I want to get into the flavor profile of the tobacco, and I'm just going to go ahead and say right off the bat that it's very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and give you the inhale and the exhale on the flavor, because they do differ a little bit between the inhale and exhale. So let's look at the inhale first. Okay, so the most potent flavor that comes out when you're inhaling the tobacco, when you're taking your first pull, is this, like I was saying in the scent, it's this generalized citrus flavor. I haven't been able to figure out exactly what it is, but it's almost lemony, the flavor of it. And it does have some menthol, some cooling effect on the back end as well. And those are probably the most prominent flavors that come out. But underneath those, you are going to get some of that woody flavor that you're going to get from almost all Alchemist tobacco due to it being aged in bourbon barrels. That's going to come through, as well as some type of a spiced herbal flavor. Kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but I think it's, after I tried it, I'd say 10, 12 times after my first 10 or 12 bowls, I started to get the feeling that it was a ginger. And there's a few reasons for that. I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, so altogether, your inhale is kind of this like citrus mint with kind of this woody undertone and a little bit of like a almost gingery spice underneath it. The exhale is a little bit different, so let's take a look at that really quick. So the biggest difference between the inhale and the exhale is that on the exhale, you lose a little bit of that citrus kick, but you start to pick up on more of that herbal flavor, and the more I smoke it, the more I'm starting to think it's a ginger flavor that's actually in here. And with all that said, if you actually look on Alchemist's website, they do list the flavor as being modeled after what is called a Moscow Mule, which is actually it's an alcoholic beverage, and they are typically made from vodka, a ginger beer. They are usually poured over ice on a copper mug, and they are garnished with a lime. So what Alchemist is actually doing with the flavor, what they have listed on their website, is they say that this is flavored like a creamy lemon with a little bit of ginger and raspberry on the undertone, and it's supposed to be a little bit tart, which it is. But I think that's mostly what you're going to pick up. Where a Moscow Mule is going to use lime, you are going to pick up lemon in this flavor. Okay guys, so all in all, taking into consideration the scent, the cloud output, and the flavor of this tobacco, I have to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's definitely a very complex flavor with a lot of different notes to pick up on. The clouds are obviously fantastic, and it's just an overall enjoyable smoke. So yeah, solid 8 out of 10 from me, Adrian, over here at PipeDream. So definitely go ahead and check this out. You can pick it up on any of your major vendors, 5-Star Hookah, Hookah Junkie, Hookah John, Hookah Heroes, Hookah-Shisha, all those guys do carry the stuff. If you feel this video brought you any value, it would be awesome if you would consider subscribing to my channel. If you liked the video, it would be awesome if you'd like the video. And if you have any requests for anything you'd like reviewed or any criticisms or questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I would be happy to get back to you with any answers to any questions, and I'd be happy to do any reviews that you guys want to see. Just go ahead and let me know, and I'll definitely look at getting those up for you. Thank you so much for watching, and happy smoking, guys. Take it easy.